On a warm summer evening in a busy city hospital, the cries of two newborn boys filled the air, signaling their arrival into the world. One boy, born to the wealthy couple Lucas and Grace William, had everything waiting for him: a life of luxury, privilege, and endless opportunities. The other boy, born to a struggling single mother named Evelyn, faced a future of hardship and uncertainty. But something unexpected happened that night, something that would change the destinies of both boys forever. A nurse named Martha, bitter and envious, watched over the newborns in the nursery. Tired of the injustice she saw in the world, where the rich lived lavishly while the poor suffered, she decided. Without hesitation, she switched the name tags on the babies' cribs, sending the wealthy couple's biological son home with Evelyn and the poor child into the arms of Lucas and Grace. In Martha's twisted mind, she believed she was leveling the playing field. The luxurious life that the William boy was destined to live would now belong to the baby she left in his place. Little did she know, her actions would create chaos that would ripple through the lives of both boys for years to come. 15 years passed, and the two boys, now known as Lucas and Ethan, grew up in vastly different worlds. Lucas, who was actually the biological son of the wealthy Williams family, lived a humble life with his mother Evelyn. They lived in a small apartment on the outskirts of town, where every day was a struggle to make ends meet. Evelyn, despite her hardships, raised Lucas with love and patience. He had grown into a gentle boy, with an unshakable calmness that allowed him to persevere despite their difficult circumstances. Lucas often helped his mother by taking small jobs after school, never once complaining about his situation. To him, hard work was a way of life. Ethan, on the other hand, thrived in wealth. Growing up in the William family's mansion, he was spoiled by endless luxuries. The world was at his feet, or so he believed. Ethan had grown accustomed to always getting what he wanted, whether it was the latest gadgets or the adoration of his peers. His parents, Lucas and Grace, adored him, but were often busy with their high society life, leaving Ethan to develop a sense of entitlement. The boys' paths converged when both ended up attending the same prestigious high school. Lucas, who had earned a scholarship due to his academic excellence, felt like an outsider among the wealthy students. He kept his head down, focusing on his studies, aware that his humble background set him apart from the other students. Ethan, on the other hand, dominated the school. He was the star of the campus, walking the halls with an air of superiority, flanked by his entourage. To Ethan, Lucas was nothing more than an interloper, an intrusion into his perfect world. From the first day, Ethan made Lucas a target for his cruelty. Ethan would trip Lucas in the hallways, knock his books out of his hands, and loudly mock his secondhand clothes in front of their classmates. Yet, no matter how much Ethan taunted him, Lucas never responded. He would silently pick up his books, brush off the insults, and continue with his day. His calm demeanor only infuriated Ethan more. Lucas's silence was not out of fear, but discipline. He had faced hardship his entire life, and Ethan's petty cruelty was nothing compared to the challenges he had already overcome. As much as Ethan tried to get under his skin, Lucas remained unshaken. Deep down, Lucas pitied Ethan, recognizing the arrogance that came from a life where everything had been handed to him. Things took an unexpected turn when Amelia, the new girl at school, caught Ethan's eye. Amelia was everything Ethan admired: beautiful, intelligent, and kind. She quickly became the subject of his affection, and Ethan, never one to be denied, made it his mission to win her over. But much to his surprise, Amelia didn't seem interested in him. She was polite but distant, unimpressed by Ethan's displays of wealth and influence. Instead, Amelia gravitated towards Lucas. She admired his humility, his calmness, and the quiet strength that radiated from him. To her, Lucas was different from the other boys at school. He was thoughtful and patient, and didn't care about superficial things like money or status. They began spending time together, and soon their connection deepened in a friendship, with Amelia laughing at Lucas's stories and appreciating his gentle nature. One afternoon, Ethan spotted Amelia sitting with Lucas in the cafeteria, sharing a quiet laugh. Seeing the girl he wanted with Lucas, the boy he despised, sent a surge of jealousy through him. Unable to control his rage, Ethan stormed over, his fists clenched at his sides. "What are you doing sitting with him?" Ethan barked, glaring at Lucas as if he were something filthy. "He doesn't belong here, Amelia." Amelia's brow furrowed, irritation flashing in her eyes. "What's your problem, Ethan?" "Lucas is my friend. What gives you the right to say that?" "My problem," Ethan spat, "is that you're wasting your time with a nobody. He's beneath you." Lucas, as always, remained calm. He said nothing, but his hands tightened in a fist beneath the table. It wasn't that he was afraid of Ethan, but the words stung. However, before he could speak, Amelia stood up, her eyes narrowing at Ethan. "Enough," she snapped. "Lucas is one of the kindest people I know, and he treats others with respect. Something you clearly don't understand." Ethan's face turned bright red with anger. Before anyone could stop him, he grabbed Lucas's lunch tray and shoved it off the table, sending food flying across the floor. "You don't belong here, Lucas," Ethan shouted, "and you never will." The cafeteria fell silent, students turning to watch the scene unfold. Amelia shot Ethan a look of disgust before grabbing her bag and storming off. Lucas, though humiliated, bent down to clean up the mess without a word. Ethan, still fuming, stormed out of the cafeteria. His jealousy and anger boiled inside him, and from that day on, his hatred for Lucas only grew stronger. The days that followed were unbearable for Lucas. Ethan's bullying intensified as he spread rumors about Lucas, sabotaged his schoolwork, and turned other students against him. Every time Ethan saw Amelia talking to Lucas, his rage only deepened, fueling his need to crush Lucas beneath him. But Lucas, with his calm demeanor, continued to rise above the bullying. He focused on his studies, refusing to let Ethan's cruel words break him. Even when Ethan tripped him in the hallways or knocked his books out of his hands, Lucas would quietly pick them up and continue on his way. He had learned long ago that some battles weren't worth the scars. Amelia noticed. "Why do you let him get to you?" she asked one day, sitting beside Lucas beneath a tree outside the school. Lucas smiled faintly, shrugging. "He doesn't get to me. He's just noise. I've been through worse." Amelia returned his smile, admiration in her eyes. "You're stronger than you think, you know." Then one day, the unthinkable happened. Ethan fell ill and required a rare blood transfusion. When the doctors tested his parents, they made a shocking discovery. Neither Lucas nor Grace William were a match for Ethan. Further tests revealed the unthinkable. Ethan was not biologically related to the William family. The babies had been switched at birth. The truth sent shockwaves through both families. Grace and Lucas William were devastated. How could this have happened? Their son, the boy they had loved and raised for 15 years, wasn't theirs. The hospital launched an investigation, and soon, the nurse's actions were uncovered. Lucas, the boy who had grown up with Evelyn in poverty, was their biological son. For Lucas, the revelation was overwhelming. His life, which had always been defined by hardship, had been built on a lie. The life he could have had, the life of comfort and privilege, had been stolen from him. Yet as much as he wanted to embrace his true identity, he couldn't turn his back on Evelyn, the woman who had sacrificed everything for him. Ethan, on the other hand, refused to accept the truth. He couldn't bear the thought of having been born into poverty, of being the biological son of a woman like Evelyn. He rejected her, refusing to acknowledge her as his real mother. To Ethan, the life he had known was the only one he would accept. "Stay away from me," Ethan yelled at Evelyn, his voice trembling with rage. "You're not my mother." Evelyn's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't choose this, Ethan, but I love you. I've always loved you." Ethan's hatred for Lucas only grew deeper after the revelation. To him, Lucas had stolen everything from him, his life, his family, and now the girl he had fallen for. In his twisted mind, Lucas had to pay for his pain. One afternoon, after a particularly cruel prank that Ethan had pulled on him, Lucas finally confronted him. They stood in the empty hallway after hours. Lucas, with his usual calm demeanor, faced Ethan head-on, determined to end the madness. "Why do you hate me so much, Ethan?" Lucas asked, his voice steady but firm. "What have I ever done to you?" Ethan's fists clenched at his sides, his face red with fury. "You don't get it, do you?" he spat. "You're not supposed to be here. You stole everything that was supposed to be mine, my family, my life. I had it all, and now you've taken it from me." Lucas shook his head, his voice low and controlled. "I didn't take anything from you, Ethan. We were both victims of what happened. But you've made this worse by choosing to hate me. We could have figured this out together, but you decided to turn it into a battle." Ethan's eyes flickered with uncertainty for a moment, but his anger quickly returned. "You'll never understand. You'll never be part of this world, Lucas. You don't belong here." Lucas met Ethan's gaze, his expression unwavering. "Maybe I don't belong in your world, but that doesn't mean I don't belong. You don't get to decide who I am." For the first time, Ethan hesitated. His anger, so long fueled by jealousy and fear, wavered as Lucas's words sank in. But even then, Ethan wasn't ready to let go of his rage. As time passed, the truth began to sink in for both boys. Lucas, despite the shock of the revelation, chose to embrace both sides of his life. He remained close to Evelyn, who had raised him with love and care, but he also began to build a relationship with Lucas and Grace William, his biological parents. He didn't allow the truth of his origins to change who he was. Instead, he used the opportunities that came with his newfound life to help others, especially those who had been less fortunate like himself. Ethan, after months of internal struggle, began to confront the deeper issue within himself. It wasn't just about the baby switch. It was about his own insecurities, the fear that he wasn't enough, that his identity was fragile without the wealth and privilege he had always known. Slowly, and with much difficulty, he started to open up to Evelyn, the mother he had rejected. As time passed, he realized there was more to life than money and status. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future videos. See you next time.